Let's talk about Manuel Ugarte. Now, this transfer saga has gone on now for over the last 6 weeks, and it looks like in the next 48 hours, Manchester United and PSG are going to come to an agreement on the deal for Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United. It seems like it's going to be a loan deal with an obligation to buy for around 50 to 60 million pounds, which for me is a fair evaluation. It's getting what everyone wants. PSG are not budging of their 60 million pound evaluation, and Manchester United really want the player but refuse to pay the 60 million. So what it seems to be the difference between a loan to buy and an obligation to buy is that, you know, with a loan to buy you have the option to purchase it, where an obligation, I'm pretty sure there's some sort of clause in the contract where you have to pay a certain fixed fee regardless of what happens, whether you want to keep the player or not. So it's quite smart business from PSG because they are getting some sort of a transfer fee, but as well Manchester United are getting their main man in midfield. You know, United are very, very lacking in that midfield option, especially when it comes to defensive options, because Casemiro cannot do it by himself. And I personally do believe that with someone like Ugarte, Manchester United will completely revolutionise our midfield and the way we play football on and off the ball. Ugarte is a pit bull. He's that engine in midfield that Manchester United have lacked for so many years now. You could say he's going to be our South American Ji-Sung Park almost. I mean, Ji-Sung Park, that's a proper statement because he is, in my opinion, a club hero, a player that goes under the radar, in my opinion. I personally believe that someone like Ugarte would just be brilliant. But anyway, let's talk about what he's like as an actual player. And there's a quote that I'd like to talk about with Ugarte, and he says that when you have the ball, obviously this is talking about his team, when you have the ball, it's a game. When you don't have a ball, it's a fight. And I love that mentality because United need that in our midfield. You know, we've got good players with mentality like Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, Mainoo, Casemiro, and I just feel like that you need them players that are going to be shithouses almost. You need them players that are willing to go to war and fight for the badge, and we need that. And South American players, you know, in recent times especially, we haven't had many successful ones, maybe Garnacho being our most successful one, but players like Antony, Palestri, Fred, you know, certain players just haven't worked out from South America, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Ugarte because I've rated him so highly. I mean, there's videos on my channel when he was at Sporting Lisbon where I really wanted to sign him last summer, but PSG got the deal over the line before Manchester United. But it's glad to see that United have targeted someone like Ugarte. But with Ugarte, I'm going to throw some stats on the screen now, comparing him to Declan Rice last season. And yes, Ugarte only played a few less games than Declan Rice, but the stats are completely different. Yes, his progressive passes aren't the best, but when it comes to tackling, duels won, ground duels won, aerial duels won. The fact that Ugarte is only 6 foot and he just gets stuck into every scenario of situation when it comes to tackling, he's not afraid to back down. So I feel like with a player like him, maybe it might take time to adjust to the speed of the Premier League, but when it comes to the physicality, I have no doubts that he's going to absolutely stonewall a lot of teams in that midfield. Now, who does he come in for is a question. I feel like that it's great to see someone like Ugarte come in, because I'm not saying this because Mainoo is a bad player, because he's a generational talent. He's one of the best players in the world. But I'm finally happy we're getting a player who can rotate with Mainoo and Casemiro. We'll have a midfield free and three very, very important midfield options that can rotate between themselves. And Ugarte is more of a 6, so I feel like he'll be rotated with Casemiro a lot more than he would with Mainoo. But for example, if we need to play a double pivot, maybe you could give Mainoo a rest. Maybe you could play Ugarte and Casemiro together. So this is what I'd like to see. And with Casemiro, we know he likes to get up for a goal. He's scored quite a few goals for United in his 2 years he's been here. So I personally believe that Ugarte would sit back and be more of a stay back while attacking type midfielder. Well, Casemiro, obviously we like to see, he almost likes to run towards the edge of the box and maybe get a few opportunities for himself. But I personally believe that with Ugarte, he's going to be a player that, I'm waffling here, but with Ugarte, I just really want this signing to happen. And I can't put it into words, the way that certain other YouTubers can, where it comes to talking about the player's statistics and everything, because I'm gonna be honest, I hardly watched him when he was at PSG. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've watched every single game of him, because I haven't. I've seen a few Twitter compilations of him, but I watched a lot of him throughout the Copa America, and I watched a lot of him throughout his time at Sporting Lisbon. And I feel like that if he's still that player that I've seen, I'm really confident that this player will be an amazing signing for us. But there also are a possible other deals that could be made with Ederson for Atalanta. Now, we have to get this Ugarte deal over the line, because this saga has dragged on long enough. I think Ugarte is the player that we need, but at the end of the day, if we could also get someone like Ederson from Atalanta, that would be an incredible signing as well. But let me know in the comments down below on what you think. Manchester United, should we sell? Let me know in the comments down below on should Manchester United sign Ugarte, and what are your thoughts on the signing. Thank you for watching.